going on, Jerome? It's a beautiful Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? Who knows after the New Year's? But time for another Vikings news up. Now, Jaren Hall is the story of Vikings fandom as of right now. Now, did he get a fair shot? Did he not? Who really knows? I personally don't think that he did. But we got a lot of pushback. So a lot of fans, including myself, are just like, okay, Josh Dobbs, turnover machine. Okay, Nick Mullins, turnover machine. And turnovers have been what's killing the Vikings in single-score games. So let's roll Jaren Hall out there, takes care of the football. Let's see what he's got. And he looked like a rookie. And then Kevin O'Connell pulling him at halftime. He didn't do me any favors, right? And the whole thing about it is that people trying to judge Jaren Hall, they're like, oh, he's a bust. Oh, you wanted him, you got him, and see what happened. That's nonsense. That's nonsense, man. People take things way too seriously. But I actually do think that O'Connell put Jaren Hall in a no-win situation. If you're going to pull him for how he played in the first half, why'd you even start him? Also, the play calling was not great. The offensive line was terrible. The interception was off of, off target behind Johnny Munt pass. And also, Jaren Hall not hitting the open crossers when he could. I mean, there's some issues there. But, of course, he looked like a rookie fifth-round pick. And I actually do think that, hey, even though the Vikings have a 3% chance of making the playoffs, if you want to get another legit look at Jaren Hall, start him week 18. And the Lions defense, they're going to come ready to play. They have a chance at the 2 seed. Again, O'Connell's trying to have it both ways. It's like, we want the best chance to win, which he would have if Jaren Hall was able to operate the offense efficiently, but he looked like a rookie fifth-round pick, as well as take care of the football, which a couple unfortunate events came up. It's fine. That's fine. But, again, just writing him off as like, this is another Kellen Mond situation. Nah. I think that's a little bit too soon to do that because, aren't rookies allowed to have bad games? Justin Fields has had a lot of bad games. He's also had a lot of good games. Bryce Young has looked like ass for the most of the season, aside from the Packers game, which is hilarious, man. But it's all right. They're likely going to name the starting quarterback today at practice, so keep Skull alive. Who knows what's going to happen, man? Something I do know what's going to happen is that a lot of Vikings did not play very well against the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers, and it hurts my teeth. Hurts my hat. The Purple Persuasion tweeted this out. List of Viking starters had the worst of 2023 season on Sunday against the Packers, according to PFF. Bradbury, Ed Ingram, Christian Darrisaw, which is kind of weird because you would think that Jaren Hall would have better pass protection. Jaren Hall should have pass blocked better. Defensively, Mekhi Blackman, Jonathan Bullard, Caleb Evans, Harrison Smith. So, you have most of the secondary there. Bullard, who has been good against the run, certainly was not good against the run against the Packers. And you could say, yes, you could. Jaren Hall, just being a quarter second slow processing and hanging on to the ball, could that have resulted in the offensive line having poor grades and giving up pressures? Sure. But also, if you go back and watch that tape, they were just a sieve. They're just a sieve. And also, Joe Barry's defense is ass, thank you. And yes, Packers have a ton of talent up front, but it was just amazing. Plus, Darrisaw just giving it away, I didn't understand that. I just didn't. And it was so uber frustrating, but, it sort of is what it is. Also frustrating is Marcus Davenport. Signing the 1 year, $13 million deal, but really 1 year, $11 million deal here with the Vikings, former first-round pick. And you're thinking, okay, if he can stay healthy, knocking on all the wood, he showed potential. He had 9 sacks in 2021. He could be that dude, and he wasn't. But the split second when he was healthy, he was good. So Vikes fan page put this out: 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits in 3 games played, only 4 snaps in week 2. So he sprained his ankle on Thursday ahead of week 1 against the Bucks. He sprained his ankle again after 4 snaps against the Eagles, and he had both ankles were banged up, and he had surgery, and it was just, but it was a gamble for sure. It was an expensive gamble and didn't work out, and that is a demerit on Kwesi's resume right now. Something that's also a demerit is, so these beautiful, gorgeous throwback Vikings uniforms with the gray face masks, and the Vikings, don't really have a lot of OG uniforms, but they brought them back this year, but they're sullied. They're sullied, man. So they lost week 1 against Tampa Bay in them, as well as they lost the Bears game. So the Vikings are 0-2 in these beauties, man. You're supposed to do it for Bud. But I forget who did this, but they did up the rankings of the throwback uniforms all the way through 1 through 23. The Vikings end up, of course, middle of the pack at 13. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the Seahawks should be 1. The Buccaneers creamsicle is good, except I feel like it gets overplayed a little bit. I mean, it's the original throwback uniform. I will say that the Eagles Kelly Green is great. The Houston Oilers one, even though the Tennessee Titans should give that back to the city of Houston, even though, yes, technically they own it. I mean, it'd be like the Ravens wearing Browns throwback uniforms. Nah, can't do it. Or what would it be? No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it would I would put it Seattle 1, Titans 2, or Oilers 2, the Eagles at 3. Like, the Dolphins one is great, except I feel like they wear that relatively frequently. Yeah. I would also pump the Browns one up a lot higher too. I mean, the Packers down there at the bottom is correct. The Giants, the OG white one with the script on it, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, but overall, Vikings, frankly, I think they should adopt them as their full-time uniform, but they got to play better than them. I mean, come on. Someone also played very well this week was Michael Penix Jr., pushing Washington into the national title game. By the way, if you can get UW at plus 4.5, I think I would take it. But Daniel Jeremiah, answering the draft guru, former NFL scout, does a fantastic work with NFL Network. It's starting to become his time of the year. He was answering a question about Penix's health. He said this, quote, I think his eval, Michael Penix's, will be controlled by medical staffs of NFL teams. His tape is really good. Last night was just another reminder of how the ball jumps out of his hand, and his placement at all 3 levels is excellent. His pocket feel is impressive too, end quote. And so came across this comp. I feel like Penix Jr. is a left-handed Sam Bradford because he also has his health being a habitual line stepper. But, yeah, Penix's medicals are going to be key. So he's had AC injuries to both shoulders. He's tore his right ACL twice. He's had other knee issues, and it's going to be a big question mark. And, I mean, four seasons at Indiana were ended by injury, but he's been healthy the last 2 at Washington. So maybe he's through it, and it's sort of like Frank Gore. Like, Frank Gore was labeled as injury prone coming out of Miami, and then he played for 5,000 years. So, I mean, sometimes guys just get through it. Sometimes guys just have a bit of bad injury luck. But, I mean, medicals on Penix are going to be the difference, whether he's a top 10 pick or whether he's a first-round pick at all. I think that's what's going to be interesting with him. Plus, there's going to be a lot of misinformation. You know, a lot of teams will be leaking like, oh, sources say that some teams are worried about his medicals. And the team that put that out there was the team that wants to draft him. They want Penix to fall. I kind of love BS season because it's so transparent and how everything is a lie. It's great, man. Something that isn't a lie is I understand that at the end of the season, teams that aren't going to make the playoffs, I mean, lose a couple games and move up in the draft order, but it's never going to happen. And you're never going to get players or coaches to play or coach to lose. Ain't going to happen. And, you know, Vrabel went a little bit viral. He was asked about what it feels like to lose. It says, it sucks to lose. It effing sucks. It's great. And he's correct. And, you know, Vrabel, many years having success with the Patriots, win a couple rings. He's been decent as a head coach, although apparently he's out of contract this year. I mean, Vrabel might be let go. It's interesting, man. But it goes back to, I mean, fans may want the teams to tank, but ain't going to happen. And even if ownership, you know, like Brian Flores alleges with the Dolphins, offers $100K for a loss to try and improve draft position, try and groove things, nah, ain't gonna happen. Because guess what? Players are playing to put up good tape to get jobs with the team next year or other teams. And if they're intentionally trying to lose, that's going to show up. And also, it goes into the integrity of the game. Like, if a team fields a weak inside and also some of the players and some of the coaches are intentionally trying to lose, I mean, doesn't that come into question? I mean, doesn't that get into potentially like trying to throw a game or potentially trying to point shave or anything like that? I don't know. It's a slippery slope, but play to win a game. You draft where you draft, and then you go from there. Also, all All right, so officiating has been just horrifically bad this year, and notably Brad Allen and his crew. They've had a couple of bad calls, and the one that stood out the most was, well, number one, they incorrectly called a tripping penalty against the Cowboys when it should have been on Aiden Hutchinson, who, by the way, is a habitual line stepper when it comes to clean or dirty play. And I mean, the Cowboys should be able to run out the clock. And the Lions' 75-yard drive and then all the shenanigans with the 2-point conversion should have never happened. But then it came down to, hey, the Lions got this 2-point conversion with this great play with Taylor Decker as an eligible left tackle, but he apparently didn't report as eligible. Dan Skipper came running in, standing next to Decker, and they tried to trick the Cowboys and ended up tricking the refs. That's exactly what happened, man. But Schefter tweeted this out. Referee Brad Allen and his crew, who worked last Saturday night's Lions-Cowboys game, have been assigned to Saturday Steelers-Ravens game on ESPN. So back on national TV. Now, this is great. And Kevin Seifert, who is not Carl Gershon, pointed out that referee game pairings are put out weeks in advance, but the league decided to leave them on a nationally televised game because, again, it goes back to my theory that the NFL actually doesn't mind controversial calls, because all damn week, all anyone could talk about is the NFL and officials, and it keeps them in the loop, it keeps them in the news cycle, and all off season they're going to be talking about the refs. And I actually do think that they like the specter of people thinking that the games might be rigged. Because what are people going to do? Like, they're not going to turn off their TV. They're going to keep watching. And guess what? This isn't going to sour people on Ravens Steelers. Like, people are going to tune in to see Brad Allen and his crew F up something else. People are going to hate watch this. It's great. Someone you love to see is our guy, Adam Jerome Ezekiel Thielen, the pride of Detroit Lakes, Mankato State University Community College. So he and the Vikings couldn't come to an agreement on a pay cut. He was released, and he got the mini bag in Carolina, signing a 3-year deal, and also posted a 100-catch season as well as 1,000 yards, and the first time he's done that since like 2018, 2019, and I love it. I feel like it is a win-win all the way around where, I mean, Thielen wasn't happy with his role in the offense last year, went to Carolina. Even though they're having a tough year, I mean, Thielen is getting the ball, and is that what matters? Sure. And also, I mean, Thielen's a big golf enthusiast, able to golf year-round, although people have been golfing in December here in Minnesota. But, I mean, Thielen getting that contract, getting wide receiver one work. The Vikings, Jordan Addison has risen up, and he looks to be a star across from Justin Jefferson. So I feel like everyone wins. Everyone does win in this spot. And also looking forward to Thielen Ring of Honor inductee at some point in the next couple years. Also, speaking of the Panthers, so the Vikings need to add along the defensive line, whether it be the draft. Love me some T'Vondre Sweat. Love me some Byron Murphy II. Who's better than Byron Murphy Jr., Chris Jenkins, Zara Newton, anyone up front. And I think it was Alec Lewis pointed out that the Vikings haven't spent a first or second round pick on D-line since 2013, and Sharif Floyd. It's not good. So Derek Brown, who the pride of Auburn, is the guy that I loved in the draft a handful of years ago. The guy that I've made several videos throughout the years saying, hey, the Vikings should trade for Derek Brown. Trade for Derek Brown. How about Derek Brown? But Derek Brown, Carolina, probably going to be a free agent. Maybe they'll tag him. Who knows? But I think that the Vikings need to go all in. I understand that the cap is going to be snug. I understand that they could have to pay Daniil, which they should, or Kirk Cousins, which they should, and JJ, which they definitely should, and maybe Darisaw, but going all in on an absolute talisman who, for my money, so Chris Jones has aged out a little bit. I mean, Derek Brown, he doesn't get the love and attention of some other defensive interiors, but he is one of the most disruptive forces in the league. He's a decent pass rusher, and he plays the nose a lot. He's great against the run, and just a dude, man. But Michael Rimmer, Derek Brown needs 3 more tackles to break the record for the most by a defensive lineman in a single season in NFL history. Do it. Now, part of it could be the Panthers have been down so frequently that a lot of teams are just running up the middle, so he's racking up and stacking up tackles like whoa, but do it. We have the meats. It's got to be back, man. It's got to be back. But that's it. Beautiful Wednesday. Vikings news dump. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.